What are you guys doing in here?
Watch out, neighbour!
You joined me today working on the Mercedes for once. A few of the bulbs went the other day, they blew. So I came around to changing them, and I've managed to drop one of them behind the actuator motor and hydraulic pump for the electric roof. Which means I now have to take the whole side of the interior panelling off to get behind the pump to get the bulb back out, because not only did I drop the bulb, but I also dropped the holder, which is the more important part. I have spare bulbs, I don't have spare holder. It's never simple, is it? See, so basically that's where the lights live, in here, and this is the pump and hydraulic fluid for the electric roof, and then down in there is where I've dropped the bulb. Okay, so essentially what I've done is I've taken the pin out of here and the pin joint out of here, but now I'm going to take that one and that one out, which hopefully means I can arch all this bit up, get my hand behind the pump and get everything out. It's also important when you're doing jobs like this to keep all your pieces together. Stupid. Because if you don't, you end up losing stuff. Oh, just get me. Have I got a thinner piece? Work a bit better. There we go. Not the proper use of a screwdriver, but I ain't got anything else to do it with, so it'll have to do. You know what, guys? I think I'm going to pause the video, get it done, because this is just taking the piss. So in order to get this piece out, I've had to take out all of the internals of the back of the car. What idiot decided that it was a good idea to not put some sort of block over there to stop it from anything from falling down? It's all because that pump won't come off properly. Oh, hello. I did not see you there. Oh, hello, dog. Hello, dog. There. Is that better? I have a dog. Say hello to everyone. So you join me in the... Oh, God. Cause chaos, why don't you? So you join me today in a bit of a weird headspace. You see, I've taken on yet another thing to do. Because, you know, the costuming and the, you know, LARP and the bike and the car weren't enough. This week, I've started my phased return to work. I've been out of work, or off work, should I say, for the last 12 months. Because this time last year, I was in a mental health hospital. I'd had a fairly major mental health crisis, which landed me in hospital. And the vast majority of people, when they have a mental health crisis, they'll go to hospital for a few days to, you know, a couple of weeks. But I was in hospital for 3 months, which kind of gives you an idea of the scale. The company I work for have been massively understanding. They've been super supportive in A, they've kept me on the books for 12 months while I've been off sick, and B, they have been massively helpful and supportive with me going back into work. I'm only doing 2 shifts a week at the minute, and even those are short. So this past week I've done 2 4-hour shifts. Next week I'll be doing 2 5-hour shifts, then moving it up from there, if I cope okay. But yeah, it's kind of scary because it's been a year since I had a major mental breakdown, and it's been a year since I've worked, and it's a lot harder than it used to be. A lot of aspects of my job came quite naturally to me, and now it's not natural at all. It feels so unbelievably forced that I'm really paranoid that everybody can see that I'm forcing it and that it's just not going to work out. So in order to counteract that, I've started making patterns for armour. I've got that, I've got that, so this is going to be the base. Downloaded this one from Punished Props, that's one half, and then the other half will go there, and then this is a kind of copy of the heavy combat armour from Fallout 4. It's not quite the same, there's a couple of things that are different on it, but that's going to be layered. And then I'm doing stuff over the top, and I'm going to be working with some metal work with that, so hopefully that'll look cool. And I also did this, so I took an old Jack Daniels hip flask and painted it black, put hazard stripe on it, but then I was like, well, where am I going to put it on my gear? So I made this little leather pouch, and it goes like that, and that goes over, and that attaches to my kit. It's all held together with a ratchet strap that I've cut down. It's kind of cool and awesome looking. So that's kind of what I've been doing this evening. Tomorrow I have the day off, and the day after because I'm not until next Monday. So I'm hoping to get the engine drained out of Project Outlaw. Yes, I still own Project Outlaw. Yes, I do intend on finishing it. Essentially the only thing that's left to do on Project Outlaw now is the gear selector on your foot isn't returning to centre, which I thought maybe it was the spline that goes through had dried out, so I re-greased it. That wasn't it. Then I thought maybe it dirted ingressed, so I blasted it out. That didn't fix it. So now it can only really be one of two things. It's either the return spring has come away in the crash, it's come loose and it needs pushing back into position, or the return spring has snapped. Either way, I've got to take the side off the engine and go and take the clutch out and the clutch plates out to have a look to see what it is. Regardless, the bike needs an oil change. It's not had an oil change since I've owned it. Judging by the way the fork oil looked when I took that apart, it probably hasn't ever had an oil change. So I need to get the engine oil out, and then I need to put fresh oil in after I've checked that spring, which is a pain, but it needs doing. But I can't do that at night because I'm too tired at the moment and my head just isn't in the right headspace for it right now. So I'm making armour patterns instead, because that's a sensible way to spend my time and a healthy way of just zoning out for a bit and doing something constructive while trying to get my brain back together after work today, because although I only did 4 hours and that's nothing in the grand scheme of things, it was kind of hard work. Mentally, it's giving me a bit of a headache.
Well, the British weather's back at least. That kind of scuppers that plan. So it is too cold for me to work on the bike, like I planned to do today. So I guess I'm calling it here, because there's not really much else I can do without freezing at the moment, which kind of sucks, but that's the reality of living up a mountain in North Wales in the UK. As always guys, if you're enjoying the videos, make sure you hit the like button, and also I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. It's free and it just informs you when I upload new videos and it lets me know I'm on the right track. But for now, I've been the Viking. As always, you've been awesome, and I will see you next week.
What down they vote?